Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Buddha. Today we are back with the 7th episode of this year's podcast. This one's actually Christmas themed, so Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Me and Ethan have been talking a little, and we decided to come up with a name for our fans. So
yes,
let's talk about that. We want to call our fans the WYZs. So shout out Dylan Chow, our #1 fan.
Yeah, it's the WYSEs because our official club name is the WYSE ACES Science Club. So WYSEs, WYSE. It was pretty clever. I think Labuda was the spearhead, so nice job, Labuda.
Thank you. So today we have our guests, which includes most of our Science Club members. So we have Ryan Madayag. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here.
We also have Andrew Coath, who's also been on the podcast.
Yep.
Jimmy Corlett. And we have our festive moderator, Mr. Og.
Hello, that's me. I'm very festive.
And my wonderful co-host, Ethan Vargas.
Hello, everyone.
And we also have our special guest today, who's Santa Claus.
Say hi, Stanta.
How are you, Stanta?
It's amazing to be here. I just want to say I'm representing Mr. Ogg's AP Physics 1B period. That's all I wanted to say.
Ooh, shout out to period B.
Oh, all right. So, I guess we could start off by, I could ask, does anyone know how fast Santa has to move to deliver all the presents on Christmas? Did anybody figure that out?
I just got it. So I got 9,276 meters per second. So I just took circumference of the world in meters over 43,200 seconds, which is 12 hours, assuming that's how long he spends.
You're not even giving the man a full 24 hours to get the job done? You want him to do it in half that time? Wow.
Hold on, let me redo it. I got you.
I turned to Google with this one, and I found this one website. It's probably varies, but this says that the reindeer can travel about 185,000 miles per hour. It's not exactly the speed of light, but it's pretty close, and it would take about 7 seconds to travel around the world. Or at this speed, you could go 7 times around the world in 1 second. So that's pretty fast, maybe. But Jimmy's calculations also sounds pretty good. What's the new one?
Jimmy, do you get it, Jimmy?
Well, I gotta pull up the circumference again.
My bad.
My bad.
I think that's all I found, really. I didn't do any calculations, but Labuda, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask Santa Claus if he has any input on this.
I actually do. So based on my past experiences and just my knowledge overall in the situation, and perhaps Google's assistance, it actually takes about I actually looked this up, and through the calculations, it's something that it takes 0.3. Santa takes 0.300 megaseconds or something like that per household in order to reach his quota for every house. It was 0.300. I think that was megaseconds. I'm not too sure, but that is a very quick amount of time.
So not only is his sleigh fast, he has to move really fast, kind of like the Flash, kind of.
Does that?
Sorry, what'd you say? I think I messed up.
I was just asking if that including the cookies and drinking the milk, things like that.
So he goes down
'Cause
the
that's
chimney,
really fast.
delivers presents,
Santa.
eats cookies, and drinks milk, goes back up the chimney in 0.3. What did you say, Stan? Milliseconds?
Hold on, let me get the exact. It was microseconds. There we go.
Oh, 0.3
Exactly.
times 10 to the negative 6 seconds. So that's what 0.000003 seconds.
Exactly what I was about to say, Mr. Strong. Exactly.
Well, I'm sorry that I jumped on it.
It's all right. It's all right.
That's my mistake. It will not happen again. I'll leave the rest of the math up to you, sir.
Thank you.
So so is he really eating like all the cookies, or is he like saving a few?
Doesn't he always leave some? And he only like takes a sip, or
Yeah, I don't think he ever drinks the milk completely, right, Stanta?
Never gotta eat the full thing. You always gotta keep them guessing. 1 year you might eat all of them. Next year maybe not. You never know.
For sure. I think one other thing we were talking about, we wanted to talk about was like the force of like of the reindeer or the sleigh. And I found that, or actually one thing I want to talk about before that, I think like for him to move fast enough with all these presents on the back of his sleigh, he needs to make sure that it's aerodynamic enough. And so it says one site I found said Santa should pack the presents in a super dense black hole type holder in the back of his sleigh, which is pretty interesting. He either is some sort of like higher being, or he's created this technology that can make a mini black hole to house all these presents in. So
Santa stores the presents in a black hole, and then every
Yes.
time he has to deliver presents, he pulls them out of a black hole. Wow.
Maybe they're like, yeah, maybe he has some way, because we know at least with Inception and our talk about that early this year, that's not physically possible to enter a black hole or even come out of it. Or it's possible to enter.
Would Santa
No,
be identified?
Yeah, it's what would happen, unless, like I said, maybe Santa's like found a way to avoid that, and he's just so far ahead of us, but he doesn't want to share it with NASA or the world, apparently, which is pretty selfish if you ask me.
From a very unselfish guy who dedicates most of his time to delivering presents to other people. He can't give us the present of understanding.
Exactly.
Oh no.
Maybe he wants to be the only person that can deliver these presents. So that's what he's
like a job security thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
that makes sense.
But yeah, that was like one thing I thought was pretty interesting. And then, so anyways, I think the total mass of the sleigh, reindeer, Santa, and the presents is 574 million kilograms. But then also, how much does a black hole weigh? Because does it weigh nothing, Mr. Og? Does anybody know?
That's a great question that I can't really answer for you. I think it's more complicated than that, because how does a black hole form?
The dying of a star, right?
Yeah, and so you get sort of this like condensing implosion of a star that crams the remaining mass of the star into like a tiny point, right? Which is commonly referred to as the singularity. And we don't know things about singularities. Let's see, NASA's telling us a typical stellar class of black hole has a mass between about 3 and 10 solar masses.
Okay. So that seems pretty heavy to me.
Yeah, it's approximately 2 times 10 to the 30th kilograms. So 3 times that or 10 times that. So it's pretty massive. Now, what was the mass of the sleigh the sleigh and the presents? You said something like billion kilograms.
Yeah, 574 million kilograms.
Oh, well, that's still going to be very, very, even if we're only talking about 3 solar masses, that is going to be significantly less than that.
Yeah, sure. But with like this hypothetical mass that we have, because I'm sure it varies each year, and we aren't sure if it uses a black hole or not. But with this mass that we have, and we multiply it by his acceleration, which this website said was, I think, 22.2 billion meters per second. That's what they said his acceleration is. So 22.2 billion meters per second squared. And then you multiply that you put that into the force equation, which is F equals ma. The force would be 12.786 quintillion newtons, which is 2.874 quintillion pounds of force. So
Wow.
yeah, it's a lot of force. I think, does that even seem possible? Would that like mess with the Earth at all? Does anybody think?
I mean, judging by the fact that there's this mass that could be heavier than a black hole, do you think that would like bend space-time? Would Santa be warping things as you want?
That's true. Maybe that's or no, it's not. I was gonna say maybe that's the aurora borealis, is northern lights, but like we already have like a scientific explanation for that, don't we? Yeah, but yeah, maybe he breaks space and time one way and goes back the other way and it fixes it.
Listen, gentlemen, the thing we know about science is that you have to accept the data at face value, and then the explanation comes from that, right? So even if what you are expecting is not what the data is telling you, then that's when we have to find new explanations. And I think the data is telling us, listen, Santa gets it done, right? He does it. We know that. So the question is then, yeah, what scientific explanation is he using? Is it possible? Yeah, he does it, right? He's there. You wake up and you find presents, right? Unless maybe next Saturday you wake up and you don't see anything under the tree. Maybe you just see a note that says, "Stop asking questions on your podcast." We don't want that.
Yeah, what if we get too close to the truth?
Then we're messing with Santa's job security, as we said.
Exactly. And he's got he can do almost anything, it seems like. Breaks physics. That's pretty scary. Sorry.
Now, gentlemen, the one that had me the most intrigued, and I don't know if anybody had a chance to look this up, but we were talking caloric intake, right? And we're gonna have to do some estimation here or some quick Googling, specifically talking about the cookies, right? We were thinking, how many calories does Santa intake? And it looks like Jimmy might have this, came prepared. Jimmy, I want to hear these numbers.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. He would be consuming 123.5 billion calories and 6.65 billion grams of fat.
So you know what? Maybe he's not that fat then. If anything, he's in pretty good shape for the amount that he eats.
Maybe the clothes are just for warmth.
Yeah.
How does he burn off all the calories then?
Well, did you hear how fast he's going?
That's
But
true.
then
You also got to take into account his off season. He only works like one day, like a day and a half of the whole year. We don't know what he does in his free time.
Wait, are you suggesting he doesn't eat in his free time?
Oh, well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he has like a 11-month-and-a-half off season. I mean, you never know what he's up to there.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
kinda
see. The other
something,
364 days, he's just Pelotoning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know.
Can
Well,
you
that's
imagine
his
jumping on the
bulk,
Peloton, right? You got your class going and you just like see Santa there and you're like, wait, what? Santa? Is that you? It's like March 3rd.
I mean, hey, you gotta get into exercise.
That's right.
Or what if it's the opposite? What if during all that time he was off, he's like eating so much food to like prepare for all the calories he's gonna burn? So if he do you guys think he's traveling in our atmosphere when he's going that fast? Or if he leaves the atmosphere, he's like, does he even need to move that fast since the Earth's like rotating already and he's in like above the stratosphere? What if he's like kind of like a spaceship type thing? He's not even in our atmosphere, and so he can move like a lot slower, maybe, at least to each specific area. Maybe he has to come back into their atmosphere to visit the houses. So maybe like he'll use it to go from one continent to the other, or a major like area, and then shoot up and move over. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he would bother like leaving the atmosphere just to go from one house to the next since they're so tightly packed together. But yeah, maybe like you said, going from like over an ocean or something. Maybe.
Yeah. Give his reindeer a break from going so fast. But yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. Yeah.
Maybe the solution is something that was brought up earlier, and it was kind of a throwaway comment by Ethan. Maybe Santa is a fifth dimensional being, and he does not experience time in the way that we do. And now we're back to our interstellar conversation, and maybe Santa's just like flying around in a tesseract, and he can just boom, 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 right? If he's not confined by the linear path of time that as we know it, maybe like it's a piece of cake for Santa.
That's an option I did not actually consider, even though I said it. So, but yeah, that would make a lot of sense as well. So does that mean if we follow Interstellar's like plot, or at least maybe sort of logic, as a fifth dimensional being, he just comes back in time to like make people happy?
I guess so. And he's probably got TARS with him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Tars' idea.
TARS is Santa? Santa TARS?
Yeah.
Oh.
Are Santa's little helpers like fifth dimensional beings then too?
Oh, I don't know. I'm worried we're getting close to the truth here.
We're on the naughty list now.
We're on this like on the blacklist. It's a whole nother list.
Wait, he's got a third list? That's not in the song.
It's a secret list, yeah. Of course. They don't want you to know
He's
about
making a
stuff.
list. He's checking it twice. Gonna find out if you're naughty or nice, or you're on the other list, which you don't want to be on. That does kind of ruin the rhyme scheme.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
That's why it's a secret. Did anybody else find any like interesting facts about Santa?
So I just wanted to clarify. So our theory right now of Santa is that he's floating around in the Tesseract, like bumping down bookshelves, putting like gifts everywhere, every place in time.
This is the new proposed theory that we're saying, hey, maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. Could it be like this? I don't, who knows?
And I think it's a great theory, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. So you're on board with Tesseract Santa.
Tesseract Santa, TARS Santa, either one.
Stanta, are we hitting too close to home for you right now?
I mean, honestly, you know what Ryan said? Like, if Ryan said it, it just has to be true. So, like, that's just how I feel. You know, if Ryan, like, he said it, I have no words. No, I've said it better myself.
All right. That's great to know. I think one thing I see is like, so this was like this website I was reading earlier about like the mass and the force and the black hole. It says like if they add Rudolph to the SWED, like there is some help like seeing, but because they're moving so fast, the Doppler effect will change the wavelength of light emitted by Rudolph's nose at the same time. Would that like it doesn't go any further. I don't exactly remember the Doppler effect. So does anybody know like if moving so fast, would that make Rudolph's nose like visibly less or would it inhibit it, or would it I don't know.
That sounds like a physics 2 topic. I wonder if we have anyone from physics 2 here. Oh, we do, Jimmy.
We haven't gotten to waves and optics yet, so I will be.
How convenient.
Santa's holding them back so that Jimmy wouldn't be able to answer this right now.
So I'll give a quick background. The Doppler effect is something that happens with waves, which is waves are energy moving through a medium, or actually in the case of light, just electromagnetic waves that don't need a medium. So you can imagine them as sort of a wave graph that you would see in math class. And they have certain wavelengths and frequencies, and the color of light is determined by whatever the wavelength and frequency is, right? If you, for example, if you are seeing the color red, that is a wave of light that has a wavelength of 650 nanometers. So if your wavelength is 650 nanometers, we see that as red. That is what red is. Now, if that wavelength changes, then we perceive it as a different color, or maybe we don't see it at all and it's out of the visible spectrum. So the idea of the Doppler effect is that if you start moving your source or the thing that is observing the light, then you are affecting the wavelength and frequency of the light, and thereby changing the color as a result. So it would be a matter of, we would just need to know the speed in terms of how fast Rudolph is moving. And yeah, it would either be that it would change the shade of color that we see, or we would just no longer be able to see Rudolph's nose. And then maybe people would stop making fun of him.
Maybe that's why he likes going so fast.
Yeah.
But thank you for the explanation.
Sorry, I think like an explanation of how Rudolph's nose works would be interesting. Just like, would it be possible? Like, is it possible for like a human or an organism to develop like that type of like mutation or like bioluminescence anywhere?
It sounds like something for, I don't know, maybe like AP biology. If only we had people in, oh, we do. Thoughts?
For the viewers, Andrew Coath just tried to hide with his hand. So
I don't think that's the way Zoom works, though.
I guess he just has a different kind of pigment in his nose. We don't know. It could be an evolutionary advantage for reindeers that developed in Rudolph. Could be a genetic mutation that he got. Because we don't know about his parents, obviously. It could be black nose, red nose. We don't know.
I think his parents. Yeah, I think in the claymation, Rudolph, his parents both have they're both normal reindeer. So I definitely think it's a genetic mutation, like you said.
I'll jump in here. I believe that Rudolph's father in the Rankin and Bass Classic was one of Santa's 8 reindeer. His father is Donner. And because Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was premiered in, the 60s, I think, 1964. Rudolph's mom is just called Mrs. Donner. Not the most equitable in terms of character backgrounds, but so we have Donner and Mrs. Donner according to the Rankin and Bass.
That's the only source material we need for Rudolph. That was a really good movie. I like that. But yeah, I think it's just a genetic mutation. Maybe all of reindeer can maybe emit bioluminescence, but maybe either they just aren't able to see it or we aren't, because the wavelength is wrong, or not. It's not on the visible spectrum, and maybe Rudolph, his nose is he had a mutation so that it would form, or it would emit a wavelength on the visible spectrum. So maybe that's why he's different. And then it's definitely beneficial. So like Andrew said, it would be like a genetic advantage. So maybe reindeers would evolve more like that in time. But yeah. So I got like a quick side question. What do you guys think Santa would do if he was a criminal? Or like, do you think he would commit any crimes?
Now, wait a second. Before we answer this, where is this coming from, and why are we painting Santa as a criminal? Why is this even a question?
Santa is a criminal.
What?
He does break into people's houses.
He knows where you live,
Yeah.
Yeah, but he gives you
He's-
presents.
but he breaks into your home to do it.
You know what? This
he's
is
presents-
starting to get as baffling as our dinosaur conversation. Where here, I think we should make dinosaurs friendly so we could coexist with them. And you guys are like, no, that's not how it works, Mr. Agassinsky. Now, all of a sudden, I think we're having a nice conversation about Santa. And all of a sudden, we're calling him a criminal.
Well, I didn't say he was. I just said like if like he has the ability to be. What if these presents he's giving are really bribes? Like what if he's trying to convince you he's a good guy, but really he's not?
Okay, what if?
What if?
I mean, like
Um,
he's a fifth dimensional being, he can do like anything.
Exactly. The Buddha, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, I found an article that says everything that charged with as a criminal. It starts with unlawful surveillance and privacy violations, labor and employment law offenses, and there's way more. Animal cruelty, driving under the influence.
Wait, driving
Intentional-
under the influence.
Yeah, what's that one?
Yeah.
That's a very different
Maybe we
portrait
can
of.
skip that.
We're gonna skip that one. Okay.
Maybe it's the eggnog. Who knows?
Yeah, but he's not
no.
drinking the eggnog before he goes. Like that's probably something for when he gets back, right?
Well,
No,
sure
we,
he's
we
like-
don't know.
yeah.
We don't know, so let's just charge him with it. Okay, Daniel, carry on with these ludicrous charges against him.
Intentional infliction of emotional distress. The naughty
What?
or nice. The
Yeah,
naughty or
but
nice.
oh my, okay,
And he gives you coal if you're naughty.
sure. But if we can pause here for a second, does Santa ever give coal? Like I know he says it, like the song says he will. But have you ever met anybody who got coal for Christmas? Ethan,
Yeah.
you have?
It was like a gag gift, but yeah, it was like coal gum. But like this, it was like this person didn't get his gift and instead got gum that was like
Okay.
coal. It tasted bad on purpose too.
Wow. All right. Wow. Intentional, whatever Daniel said.
It was intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Yeah, I wonder if they could actually get that one in a court of law. Seems
I've seen videos of like people scaring their children saying, "I'm calling Santa right now," and the kids are just sitting there crying. So I think
yeah, but
was-
that's not on Santa. That's on the parents.
what it's his influence that did that.
Oh, sounds like a class action lawsuit then.
Exactly.
Wow, Daniel, any other charges?
Airspace and customs violations. And
Sure, no, I can see that one. Yeah, unless he goes up, maybe that's why he leaves the atmosphere and then comes back down.
Is that how the law works?
I don't know. I hope he has a good lawyer.
It's probably a Donner.
Donner's his lawyer.
Yeah.
oh wow, this is a big one.
Oh,
Tax evasion.
tax evasion.
Now, how do you
San-
know that Santa doesn't pay his taxes?
Well, because he lives in the North Pole. How would he pay taxes?
Well, so then are there any taxes for him to evade if he's living in the North Pole?
Isn't
Hmm.
there? Is it? I think it's the North Pole, or is it? It's like nobody's allowed there unless they're on like a tourist visit. So maybe that's also a law he's breaking. I forget if it's Antarctica or the North Pole, but it might be Antarctica. So that might be never mind. But yeah, so maybe he's breaking a law for even living up there.
like maybe like tariffs for sneaking into people's homes and giving them gifts, like export, import. I don't know. I guess
I want to
that
see a
could-
Christmas movie where Santa has to wait in line at customs. Right? Anything to declare? Yeah, I've got a big black hole of presents. Can I just put that as one thing, or do I have to itemize it?
Maybe we should make a movie next. The next big science club adventure.
Think Santa has diplomatic immunity. That's why he doesn't get arrested.
Oh, he's gotta. Who's not going to give diplomatic immunity to Santa?
That's what I'm saying. The gifts he gives are bribes.
Oh, interesting.
agree.
Daniel, any other alleged crimes that we're charging Santa with?
They're not really that much serious. So
Okay.
I guess I'll ask Santa Claus
Mm.
what he has to say about himself right now.
Okay, all I gotta say, there's no visual evidence of this. There's no pictorial evidence. So that's all I have to say. These are all just absurd claims.
I mean, maybe, but is it? I don't know. I feel like we've got you almost.
Definitely not. You do. I mean, unless Ryan says otherwise. Unless Ryan says it how it is. This may not be true. That's all I'm saying.
So Ryan,
I think we
is
need. I
very
think we need to
good.
hear from Ryan. I think we need to hear from Ryan.
Okay, Ryan, go ahead.
Sorry, there's no proof of Santa Claus doing anything, and I mean these are all just rumors. I have to back up Stan. It's just facts.
I think
There
I
are
was
no
wrong. I
facts.
think Ryan's his lawyer.
You know, it
Donner's
seems
just
like
saying-
a
my bad. I think
good
it's
portion
wrong.
of the people on this podcast watch Miracle on 34th Street and like sympathize with the judge. They're like, yeah, this guy's got it. Why are we painting him as the crazy one?
I'm not familiar with that show. Is that a show?
Miracle on 34th Street? Oh, it's a Christmas
Never
classic. It's a movie.
I've not watched a lot of Christmas classics.
Oh, gentlemen, you have a week until Christmas. How many people have seen Miracle on 34th Street? No, nobody. Raise your hand if you've seen it.
I nobody understood. That's what I thought. I thought it was
What is it? Well, then maybe you would enjoy this because it ends with a fairly lengthy courtroom scene with Santa Claus. The premise of the film, it starts with the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The Santa that they hire is unable to partake in the parade. And they're like, what are we going to do? We can't have the Thanksgiving Day Parade without Santa. And this guy walking by who looks just like Santa Claus, spoiler alert, he is Santa Claus, is like, can I help? And they're like, sure. And so all of a sudden we're like chilling with the real Santa Claus for like this whole movie. And it's just people like, you know, in Macy's going like, I don't believe this. And so at the end, they put him on trial to see if he really is Santa Claus.
You have to watch that now.
Yeah, it's a Christmas classic. Made 1947, starring Edmund Gwynn, I think. Maureen O'Hara.
Oh.
Yeah. Natalie Wood. I'm sure all of these names mean a lot to all of you.
Oh, for sure.
There you go. There's my homework assignment for break. Watch Miracle on 34th Street.
Maybe we could watch that as a club when we get back.
After Christmas?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Um,
I'll throw it out to the WYSEs too that they should watch it. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere.
I can see if I can find out. One thing I didn't remember to mention earlier was that we were talking about how long Santa has to do all this, and I thought about it at the time, but I found out like exactly how long it could be, because I was thinking like it's night earlier in the east than the west, so it's a little bit more time than just 12 or even 24 hours. I found that he has about 36 or 38.
Take that, Jimmy.
32 hours to to get to deliver presents all around the world.
Jimmy wanted to give him 12 hours. He's like, let's go, Santa.
I think he can do it.
I mean, if he is a
Unrealistic.
fifth-dimensional being, unrealistic, dang. So your
12
question,
12 hours is unrealistic. I give him 30. That's definitely doable.
yeah.
Stan could do it in 10.
I agree with Jimbo. Even 10's a little too modest if you ask me.
Kind of irrelevant, but just relating back to like when I heard you guys talking about like Santa committing aerospace crimes. So one of the facts that I saw was, it's just a random fact, but the first song ever played in space was Jingle Bells in 1965 with NASA's Gemini 6A crew. So that was pretty cool.
I did not know that. That is fascinating. I wonder how they decided on Jingle Bells.
I don't know. I would have probably picked the same thing for undefined reasons too. I don't know.
Huh. Cool.
I guess I have a question for you guys then. Kind of going back to our conversation a little while ago. Mr. Og is already shaking his head in disappointment.
My answer is Stegosaurus.
I said Triceratops.
What about the purple dinosaur?
What was,
Mr. Og.
what was his name again? I forgot.
Dino?
Yeah.
His name is Dino.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Do you guys think that Santa should be a wanted criminal?
No, he shouldn't. He brings joy to people all over the world.
But at what cost?
He doesn't charge it. Does he leave a bill with the presents?
No, I didn't mean that kind of cost. I mean, like, he is breaking security laws. It's a little bit weird.
He stalks you. He breaks into your home.
This is not where I thought this podcast was going to end up. I
Wouldn't
feel
bringing
like
joy,
this was.
constitute bribery?
I feel like this was all a ploy. I feel like you all banded against me. You said, we're going to end this podcast by putting Santa on trial, issuing a warrant. I don't know why you hate Christmas. I'm on a podcast with a bunch of Grinches.
We don't hate Christmas. Jimmy, what were you saying?
I said that I think bringing joy should constitute bribery, should be incriminated even more heavily.
How many years would you say he did, Jimmy?
I can't count that high.
He does live forever, so, or at least presumably.
Let's lock him in his own black hole.
Spaghettify him forever.
Yeah.
I do not support the views on this podcast.
I just want to ask you guys, what's with this anti-Santa like agenda you guys are pushing? Like, what did he do to you guys? I just want to know.
Many horrible things, Stanta. You should know.
You partake in them, Stan.
I mean, unless they're not mentioned, it is definitely false.
Sounds like Daniel and Ethan didn't get the Lego set they wanted for Christmas last year, and they're just bitter.
No, I really am. Ryan or Andrew, do you guys have any opinions on Santa's, my bad, Stan, Santa's innocence or lack thereof?
I'm gonna side with Mr. Hogg on this one. I mean, he's a great guy. He's never done anything to me, you know. I mean, he's been nothing but nice, and I feel like Stanta's a great guy overall.
Okay, that's understandable. Ryan?
I mean, as of course, a somewhat obligatory supporter of Stanta, I have to agree. There's no proof. They're all rumors. You guys are just terrible people, I guess.
Whoa, Ryan, that's a bit far, man.
Yeah, when Stanta, or not Stanta, when Santa is bringing down the world and everyone using his fifth dimensional beings' powers to destroy the fabric of our universe, me and the Buddha will say, "We told you so." And Jimmy too.
If we remain loyal to him, he'll spare us. You guys are the ones that are at risk here, so good luck with that.
Dang.
No
It's probably
comment.
true. No comment, Mr. Og?
No comment.
I found where you can watch Miracle on 34th Street. By the way, it says either Hulu with like a premium subscription. I'm assuming that premium subscription is HBO Max, because then it says you can watch with HBO Max as well. So if you have those, Mr. Og's homework is to watch this movie over Christmas break or whenever.
All right. Does anybody have any final comments or questions? No.
Nope.
All right. Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for our guests and our special guest, Santa Claus. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.